Hey, thanks for joining us for this quick interview with my friend and coworker, Aimee Arant. Thanks for joining us today. Those of you that are reading this blog, we're super excited to be able to give you even further than just some words on the page, but a chance to actually meet Aimee and hear a little bit of her story on what's happening at the border, specifically in McAllen, Texas. That's where we've been going on our outreaches predominantly to this area where there is what we have all seen on the news, really a humanitarian crisis in many regards. Aimee, you weren't necessarily looking to do this at the beginning of 2021, but it did kind of fall in your lap. Tell us a little bit how you got started in working with our ministry teams and going to the border.
Yeah, I'd actually just got back from another trip, and then they were talking about going on a scouting trip and all these different things, and I was like, well, I would love to go. Like, I'd love to just go be a part of that and see what's happening. And then on top of that, I was like, well, I'll film and make a video about it, and that could be something we use in the future. And I remember being down there and being like, oh, this is like so cool to get to be a part of this, but I probably won't be able to come back. Like, this is probably my last time. But so yeah, I got the opportunity to go that time, and then the next scouting trip came and I was asked to be on that trip too, and I was like, this is weird. Okay, yeah, I can do that. And then I went, and again, I thought, I was like, this is gonna be the last time I get to come here. So I just like will enjoy it and just get to serve as much as I can. And then there was another team that was going to be led, and they needed someone to lead it. And they were like, well, Aimee, you've been on these teams. You know what to expect. Like, will you lead it? And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never done that. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Like, cool. Like, that's a cool opportunity. And so I did. And then they just kept coming, and they asked me to lead all the other teams. And I just continued each time I went to build relationships and get a deeper heart each time.
Yeah. So it's neat to talk with you about what's happening there, because it's not hearsay, it's not third party. I get to hear these stories when you come back and share them with me. And we just kind of want to just jump right in for people that are watching, and really part of this too is to sort of update others who have given financially and have been a part of these teams, is to know like what is currently happening still. When you first went there, this was back, I think, right around May 1st of June. Tell me the difference between that first trip and then you just got back like a week and a half ago versus what just took place.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it's overwhelming because I feel like it's grown. Like, the need has grown because there's a park that we go to in Mexico, and that park has just been taken over by tents. And then there's a park that we would normally go to on the state side, and that's becoming a tent city. So like, the need is growing. Like, it's definitely, the first time I went was totally different and not as many people, but now it's like overwhelming, the need and the people and just what's happening. I think it is encouraging, like, getting to talk about it and be a voice for what's happening, and then bringing teams there and like encouraging them to be a voice for what's happening because they've also had the opportunity to be there firsthand. So yeah, to get to talk about it and to encourage people to be a part of what's happening and praying for it and going and helping.
So when you guys are going there on these outreaches, and we're seeing teams come from all over the states and locally to join a team and go down to the McAllen area and into, is it Reynosa, right?
Reynosa.
What are some of the practical hands-on needs that you guys are meeting there? We're just right now in this conversation, we're talking about just the humanitarian problem. What are some of the things that you're seeing? What are the things that you're doing to help people practically?
Yeah, there's plenty of ministries down there that are serving all the time and doing different things. So my heart in going and bringing teams is to come alongside with what they're already doing, they're already serving. We'll work with Catholic Charities, which they will give out clothing for people, toiletries and stuff for them. And then in Reynosa, in Mexico, we give the kits as well. Like, if people, it's on the page and everything, when people give kits, like, we give those out to them there.
We've lost track of how many kits that
There's so many.
Yeah,
There's been so many.
We've done a lot.
Yeah, and they're huge. Like, people are they're wanting that. We also do, like, there's colonias in the States that are kind of like illegal people, undocumented people that have created a community. And so we'll do like door-to-door ministry there, give out Bibles and pray. But also there's like food banks that are with the churches, and then we'll give them like food and stuff and serve them in that area as well. So yeah, those are just
the need is great for support. Obviously, we've seen that, and you've done an amazing job. You've been on probably a dozen trips, I think, between the time this all started, and I'm sure there's more coming. We've done medical trips as well. Our Mercy Works department's done some medical things there as well. So when you're there, what's the thing that's breaking your heart about this crisis? When you're seeing the people, what's the thing that's really grabbing hold of your heartstrings?
I think when you hear about the situation, you hear about things, you can create your own opinion and all these different things about the whole situation. But just like the individuals, like seeing their faces and seeing like, wow, like this is a human life, like this is, and then there's like so many of them that are individuals that are like, the kids, they didn't choose this, like their parents are doing the best they can to provide a better life or to escape from something that was unsafe. But it's just like the individuals, and I'm just like, wow, like how like privileged I am that I don't have to like go through that. Sure. And I have like, I was born into safety and stuff. But yeah, I think just that, like the kids and just like the individuals of like, they don't know, like their future or their futures are literally question marks and like are in other people's hands. I think that's like a really big, like just kind of like, wow. Like,
no, I talked with a few folks that have been going on the trip, and the amount of trauma that your teams are sensing with people that are showing up to go to the immigration office, the trauma is on a whole nother on the other scale. How are you guys dealing with that when you're talking to the children, we're talking to parents about some of the hardships that they've experienced? Are you guys able to pray with them and encourage them? What are some of those steps that you guys are walking people through when they have these really hard things that they've been in?
Yeah, usually if like it's someone from my team and they don't speak Spanish, we'll have a translator. And the team down there, YWAM South Texas, they're awesome, like, and just sensing things and just being sensitive to like where the individual's coming from and then what we're trying to like pour into them. I think a big thing is like just listening, like that they want to be heard, and listening is the number one way to evangelize to people. So listening to them, and then also just be like speaking truth. And if God's like speaking anything to you, like just like speaking that over them, but just speaking truth and that who God is and to them. If they don't know who Jesus is, then just asking them like, would you like to know who he is? And we have like the book of John that we would give. So giving them that opportunity, and then also being able to like pray for them. And yeah, there's a lot of like heavy things, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know how to like deal with this. So it's just literally being like, okay, Holy Spirit, like I have no clue how to deal with this. So just being led by him and just asking him for wisdom, because each person is different, each person's situation is different, and each person, they all have the one need, and it's Jesus. Like
what's if I can just probe just a little bit, what's one of those stories that in those moments when you're talking, like one that's kind of etched in your mind and your memory that you'll probably never forget?
I feel like there's a lot of them. There's this one story from one of my team members that I brought her. I don't know if I could say her name, but she was cutting hair at one of the places we were at. As a ministry? Okay. Yeah, and she spoke Spanish, so she was able to like listen to people as she was cutting their hair. And this one lady was like sharing that she was headed to New York, that she had family there, and she just kind of asked questions about like Jesus, like my team member asked questions to the individual, and she was like, I don't know who that is. Who's that? She's never heard like who Jesus was at all. Wow. So she was able to share the gospel, and the lady got so excited. She was just so excited to go to New York and find a church and to find a community that she could be a part of, and to know more about this Jesus that cares about her and loves her so much. And like for me, that was like really encouraging and just like shocking that like she didn't know who Jesus was. Like it's just like crazy to me. But yeah, just really encouraging.
Yeah, you know, and when we're seeing the things that are on the news and we're hearing some of the stories and some of the tragedies, it's moments like these where we're not hearing a lot. They're a little bit more challenging to try to get those stories out there that the Lord is doing something amazing in the lives of those that are coming across the border, whether illegally or legally or whatever. In the midst of that, you know, there's some political tension on this. Who's to blame and what's going on, and how have you sorted through that to be able to just serve people and the issues at hand and not necessarily bring the politics side of it?
Yeah. I think for me, in the beginning, it was very difficult because even people in my life have opinions about me going down there. But I have, like, toward the end of the first trip, I was like, wow, like, I can sit here and try to figure out what side I'm on or my opinion, but the issue is way bigger than that. There's not a one side or the other. Like, I see both sides, and I also see the individuals that are coming, and I it's difficult, I think, but I think also just going down there and loving the people, the ultimate need they have is Jesus, and we can offer them that. And then we're also a very blessed country, so to be able to serve them and give them things that they need to, it's like that's who Jesus is, you know, like so
with the amount of immigrants coming to the border, I think it went from like 1,000 a day to it's just over the moon. Yeah, the numbers are phenomenal. Where do you see this? Where do you see this heading? How much ministry can we possibly do? What are some more of the needs that you see us needing to be engaged in?
I don't know, just like continuing with what we're doing. Yeah. I think it's really awesome to bring teams down there that people are on that aren't necessarily missionaries, because it opens their eyes and they go back to communities and churches and get to be a voice for what's happening. Not to say that we don't need missionaries down there, but I think it's just really cool to give them that experience. Yeah. They're not seeing it on the news. They're not like, they're seeing the faces. They're getting to experience it for themselves. And then getting to go back and be that voice all over the U.S. So I think that's like awesome in itself. And when they tell other people they want to give to it, they want to be a part of it and sending kits, they want to go down there themselves, right? And things like that. And I think that's
got to keep doing that. So how has this changed your life? A year ago, this was not on the radar. In fact, I think for most Americans specifically, this has always been an ongoing issue, but never to this degree. And we've heard those accounts firsthand from the people that we work with, their churches and other ministry organizations. Since a year ago to today, this has done something to you. Tell us a little bit about how God has used this to change some things in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have thought I'd be doing this or be a part of the border or anything like that. It was never something that was in my plans. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it's affected me in like so many different areas of my life, and like personal like growth and like leading teams and stepping out and just being like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, this doesn't make sense, but I know what you're speaking, God. And so stepping out and seeing his faithfulness, but then also seeing my faith grow in that. Yeah. Getting to meet different people from all over, learning from them. But then also just like, I don't know, getting to like see the situation and be a part of it. Before, like, I would hear about the border and stuff, and it was like, yeah, I know that's an issue, but I kind of, you know, tend to disqualify myself and be like, well, there's nothing I can do about it except pray, so I'll just pray about it. But having like firsthand being able to like go and be a part of it is like, wow, like there is something I can do about it. It's a small part, but like it can change an individual's life. Like, we made a small difference in going, but like that lady that went to New York, like that changed her life, you know? So yeah, I don't know if that answers
Yeah,
your
no,
question.
that's great. That's great. I do appreciate that. I've had the privilege, because we work together, to watch just that transformation that God's doing in your own life and heart. So someone's watching this and reading this article. Hopefully they've been encouraged that God's doing some really good things there. We had a prayer event there not too long ago, inviting people to come and just pray and call on the name of the Lord to help in this area as well. We'll continue to do things like that. But somebody who's watching this, they're looking at you. You're just a young, beautiful young lady who has said yes to stepping into all that God has for her. Someone's watching this today, reading this blog, and they're like, I could never do that. What would you say to them?
I would say that was me too. But for me, I feel like there's like a deepness in my heart of being like, there's more. And there is more, like with Jesus. Like, he takes you deeper and takes you to places where you never thought you would go. And just say yes. Like, whatever you're desiring, whatever you're passionate about, just go for it. Like, don't just be like, disqualify yourself, and don't just like step back, but like step into it and seek him and go for it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, we're going to put some links with this video interview with ways that you can get involved and participate in things that are happening at the border. And you might get to work with Aimee for sure if you sign up to volunteer with the team, or even just giving, knowing that those humanitarian packs that we're putting together, they get in your hands, and then you're taking them with teams to help. So thank you for giving and participating and praying. Thank you, Aimee, for being able to share a little bit about what's going on there from your perspective and what you're seeing, and even just from your own heart, sharing with us just what God's doing there. So thanks for watching, and hope that this has been encouraging for you.
Bye.